Well, Frank, I am so excited that you are back. I hope you had a fun time in London, but you are back here in Jacksonville, and let's talk some college football. Two phenomenal games while you were away. We'll start with Georgia just dominating Texas. The one thing that we wanted to see from the Bulldogs was to start fast. Not only did they do that, but they just absolutely dominated that game.
Yeah, they really did, Alessandra. And Kirby Smart sounded ticked off, didn't he? After the game, he felt like nobody gave him a chance to win. The last thing you need is a mad Georgia team. And they were a good team, and they were an angry Georgia team. Look, they're really good. And the fact that they've got a loss, so what? They're as good as anybody playing right now. I really believe that. If they're not the best team in the country, they're one of two or three best teams. I'll say this. Now, Texas has not played a tough schedule. So that might have revealed some concerns about Texas. Georgia was way better. They were way more physical. They were faster. Those two defensive ends were nasty. Keep an eye on Texas. I'm not sure they have an easy time at Vanderbilt this week. But as far as Georgia goes, Georgia's back on track, and they've got a really good team. That was a good win. It was a statement win for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they are off this week. So are the Florida Gators. That's because November 2nd, both of those teams are coming to town to play in their rivalry game at Everbank Stadium. Let's talk about the Gators now, though. This past Saturday was a standout game from them. Really good for Billy Napier and his hopes to stay there. Just an absolute dominant win over Kentucky. And you can't talk about this past win without talking about the freshman, now phenom Jordan Baugh, who many people may have not known about until Saturday when he just absolutely tore up that field.
He really did. Jaden Baugh had 5 touchdowns in that game. DJ Lagway played well in that game. They're both true freshmen. I'll tell you what, Alessandra, I'll give Billy Napier credit. That team has played for him. With all the talk and all the noise in the system and the hot seat and whatnot, he has got that. He's never lost that locker room. They continue to play. They continue to play hard for him. And look, you're starting to see some good young players on that team. Now, look, they've got a terribly tough schedule the rest of the way. Georgia and Texas and LSU and Ole Miss until they get to that Florida State game. That's 4 really good, highly ranked teams. But for now, you can only play the games you've played, and they played really well against Kentucky. They were physical. I thought Kentucky would out physical Florida, and they did. And that was a good win for the Gators. And slowly but surely, you're seeing what Billy Napier has told us all along what happened is starting to happen. They're not there yet, but there are some signs of life down there, and we haven't seen that in a while.
Let's talk about a team that is completely opposite of those two in the Florida State Seminoles, who, of course, just lost to Duke. It was the first time Duke ever beat them in program history. And now they have to go to Miami and play Cam Ward, who is absolutely electric this season, if not one of the best, or definitely one of the best football players in all of college football.
Yeah, I keep saying this, Alessandra, every time we do this, every time I do it on the radio show, anytime I do it anywhere, I'm astounded how badly it went for Florida State, or how badly it is going for Florida State this year. I never saw that coming. I never saw Florida State being this bad of a football team. They were 13-0 last year in the regular season, and they probably should have been in the playoff. And if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt, they'd have been in. They might have won the doggone thing. And, man, it all fell apart. Against Duke last week, Duke, who had the better team. It's the first time Duke's ever beaten Florida State, and they had the better team. Florida State is last in the nation in takeaways, last. They're 130th in so many stats, 131st in so many stats. It's amazing how bad that football team is, and I never saw it coming. I don't think anybody there saw it coming. I don't think any of us did. Tough times for FSU, and oh boy, you know Miami's going to want to hang a number. Now, FSU's defense isn't terrible. The offense is. But you know Miami and that great offense, you're right. Cam Ward's been so good. Alessandra, they're going to try and hang a number on the Noles this Saturday night.
Yeah, in Florida State, they subbed in their third-string quarterback, who's a freshman, Luke Krobenhoek. When we thought, well, we knew DJU was not good. We thought maybe Brock Glenn would be good, but he's not even good. Now you're looking at a young third-string quarterback who's going to try to, I assume Brock Glenn is going to play this Saturday, but maybe this younger guy gets in, but there's just no answers. They don't have a good quarterback. It all starts with that on offense. Like you said, their defense is pretty good, but you got to score points, and they just literally cannot do that.
Yeah, you know what? And remember, they got to go to Miami this week. They later on have to go to Notre Dame. They've got to play Florida, even though it's in Tallahassee. Florida's not no great shakes, but they're playing better now. They're certainly starting to found something. If I was Florida State, I would play Brock Glenn and Luke Kromenhoek the rest of the season, even if DJ Uiagalelei gets healthy. No disrespect to DJ, but this is a lost season. He's played enough football. I'd play those young guys. Kromenhoek made a good throw, right? And then you got in the game and the ball was dropped. So they don't have a good offensive line. They don't have great receivers. Remember this. They lost so many players off that really good team last year. And we all just assumed they would replace them. We all just assumed they'd be the next group and the next group. Well, it didn't work that way. The guys waiting their turn weren't very good. That's a really bad football team. And it's going to be hard for Mike Norvell in the offseason. How do you fix this? You want to fix it with the portal, but that's what went wrong here. Too many portal guys. So, boy, tough times for the Noles, no question about it.
Yeah, if I was a high school athlete and I looked at that team, I don't know if I'd want to go to Tallahassee next year. I'd probably steer more towards Gainesville or Athens if I could. But I'm definitely not a high school football player. But you know what? Next week, we're going to talk about Georgia, Florida, which I'm so excited to preview, and I cannot wait for them to come back. Frank, thank you for coming on Campus Corner. I'm happy that you're back, and I can't wait for next week.
Same here. I can't wait. I'm glad to be back. It was a great trip to London. I'm glad to be back home. I promise you that.
There you go, Frank. Thank you for watching Campus Corner.